Hello everyone, this is Sharon Katho, one of the young women who benefited under the community-based approach project to preventing violence against women and girls through the partnership that MEMPROW, Mentoring and Empowerment Program, had with my organization then called Life Concern. The partnership that MEMPROW, one of the leading organizations in Uganda that is championing the end to violence against women and girls, had with grassroots organizations such as Life Concern, Safe Ford, Pachego Women's Club, Wigsida in Kampala, and mention it. These grassroots organizations had a chance to identify young women each, 2 young women each, who were subjected under intense trainings with MEMPROW. For most of us, the young women, we didn't understand what violence against women and girls was like. The whole concept around it, the difference and how patriarchy, how intersectionality plays against us, we didn't understand. And at one point, I'm sure, majority of us were actually the promoters of violence. But with the trainings that we underwent, trainings that took us through advocacy, trainings that made us understand what feminism is like, what it is all about, trainings that made us understand the power of women, economic liberation and empowerment. And all these trainings gave a chance for these women to change themselves and even change the organizations. But to a wider scale, they were able to put in change into the communities where they were coming from. Going back to the communities where these young women were coming from, all of us were involved in community engagements. Community engagements where you find majority of the young women were actually training fellow young women, even older women and different stakeholders, to understand the component of gender-based violence, to acknowledge that the system plays against women, and also to bring about change, and also to address some of the cultural barriers which they have normalized, and yet they're downplaying the women, and trying to address these issues through trainings, through advocacy, and direct engagement with key stakeholders like the police. So a lot of issues were identified, a lot of violences were identified in the community which were reported to the stakeholders, and we realized that was how best we could convince these people to come on board with us. And we also did a lot of identification of more champions, that in the event that we phase out, even if the project phases out, we already have women in the grassroots level who can act as champions. Not just us who had a chance to be in organizations, but women at the grassroots levels were also identified to be champions. And still, for one particular organization, they helped promote the rights of the LGBTQI group of people. And that is something that we all know is in Uganda is still a question that people are discussing. But through these trainings, those are some of the things we saw happening. At a personal level, for almost all these young women, several changes have occurred within ourselves. A case in point, we would talk about the economic elevation. I'm not saying we are super rich, but I know for a fact that majority of the young women wouldn't want to be held down in poverty, but have economic literacy and have an economic empowerment in whatever they are doing. And 2, these women who had a chance to grow a network through the trainings that we had, and these joint trainings that we were having connected the different local organizations, and we established a route, established social connections, which is something that is permanent and cannot be removed. And internationally, through the international movements that we're having, both in South Africa and Mozambique, connecting all the 4 different countries, these young women were able to grow and sustain a network, which I'm sure they're using up to date. And furthermore, majority of us gained confidence and gained the courage to stand and demand for what is right before our stakeholders, before our fellows, and before the entire community, to question the norms. It's because we have the confidence to do that.
Hello, I'm Abiko Edna, working with Hope for the Simeons Africa, but formerly worked with Seford in Zombo as M&E officer, where I participated in implementing the project about ending violence against women and girls. Personally, I was able to network with many friends from different organizations, many young women that had never met before those trainings, and I equally gained skills in how to advocate for the rights of others, in how to address gender issues, and it made me become so passionate about how to help the young women and girls in how to address gender issues. I'm so grateful to MEMPROW for imparting all those skills in us, which I'll use for the rest of my life. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm called Stella Oyungroth. I work with MEMPROW as a programs officer, and yes, as one of the young women who benefited from the training. This training helped me build a network with other young women advocating the feminist agenda. And yes, this network also offers safe space for us as feminists to express ourselves on issues that affect us as young women. I want to thank MEMPRO for giving us this opportunity to learn on how to advocate effectively. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm called Kayom Sunday, one of the young women who benefited from this project through MEMPRO. Then I was working at Life Concern, one of the grassroots organizations that was taken. Yes, this project had a lot of impact in our lives. Particularly, I gained more confidence and also leadership skills. I didn't know I was a good leader, but it built on my capacity to be a good leader and also to connect with other fellow young women and also other organizations like Akina Mamo Africa. And through Akina, I also happened to participate in Commission Status of Women, which was held in New York this year. And I also learned to let it go see some of the situation. Every time I will confirm myself that yes, I can make it, I'm also a woman. I need not to be a perpetrator of GBV. At organization level, I used to handle a dialogue without considering the GBV aspect, only concentrating on human rights issue. But at the moment, I am able to identify, to analyze issue critically and also including GBV in my daily work routine. And I also, during this COVID, since there was high rate of GBV, we empower young women using a storybook where they are able to amplify their voices and also share their stories with other young women. Now that the project is coming to an end, yet there is a plight of GBV during this COVID. I wish this funding could continue so that more women can be integrated to also benefit from this project and amplify their voices.